Welcome to the LynnCAM TV Show. I'm Sean Donahue. Here with me, Andrew Duperval, a Lynn Classical student, here to be recognized for some of his recent efforts. Brandon Hamilton and Mr. Keel. That is Warren Keel. These gentlemen are here from Stack Doe Entertainment. We're here to talk about Black history here in America. We're going to get into that a little bit more in depth, but let's talk a little bit about Andrew. Andrew's a student at Lynn Classical. He has an incredible story. Brandon and Mr. Keel had decided to develop an essay project in hopes to educate some of the kids here in Lynn about Black history and learn a little bit about what it meant to them. Our winner is Andrew. He'll be reading his essay for us in a little bit. But Brandon, let's talk a little bit about the project. How did it come into play? Why did you develop it?
We thought about this at the beginning of February, and when we thought about it, we just wanted to do something to give people a different, aspect or a different view of us. When you think about Stack Doe, you might get a little deterred from the name Stack Doe. It sounds a little, stereotypically it sounds thuggish. It may deter you away from what we're really trying to do. You YouTube our videos and you see music, but we do music because we love music. We do music because we're good at music. We might say things on there because that's what makes us feel good, but we wanted to basically do an essay contest to reach out to the kids and basically show the people that we're so much more than just musicians. We're fathers. I'm a college grad. We're sons. We're community men, and it just means a lot to us. So I wanted to extend an invitation to all the high schools and all the middle schools and other programs in Lynn.
Absolutely. I would assume that you guys probably had or faced some struggle in trying to develop this, seeing as though it was behind a label. But, realistically, we have to understand that it's entertainment, and that's what it is. It's entertainment, it's fun, it's for us to listen to and enjoy ourselves. We watch football players go out every Sunday in the fall and try to rip each other's heads off. We watch movies and TV shows that are drug-based, gun-based, it's all entertainment. So it's interesting to hear not only you're a musician, but you're a college graduate, you're a father-to-be, you're a son, you're a community man. And after talking to you, too, it sounds like you guys are right on the same page. Now, Brandon, you're the vice president of Stack Doe, and Mr. Keel, you're the CEO. Brandon, tell us a little bit about what your responsibilities are.
Basically, anything that gives us a positive outlook. We don't really, he doesn't really set a standard for me to follow. He just, respects me in a way that anything that I could bring to the table in a positive light, that's my job.
Okay. So now, Warren, you must have your hands in the pot, too, making sure that everything pops off the right way. We had talked a little bit before the show about some of the struggles that you had faced. Just dealing with the general public and people in general can be wearisome. But also making sure that, your business is a successful type of thing. Tell us a little bit about, as a CEO, what some of the things you're responsible for.
Like we spoke about before the show, just dealing with the different personalities. You got 5 grown men with all their own, different personalities. You got to deal with everybody accordingly, treat everybody different because, everybody takes things different.
Right.
So just that alone is a heavy load.
You provide a service to these gentlemen too, and ladies probably, that you're listening to their music, you're giving them feedback. So that's important in itself. Now, Andrew, let's talk a little bit about you. You're a student at Lynn Classical, right?
Yes.
Now, you had told me yesterday, we had met before the show to talk a little bit about your story. It's incredible. The amount of struggle that you face and overcome is just amazing. So tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll get into why you wrote this essay.
Well, pretty much when I was a little kid, I always liked reading. I always liked being smart. But I guess going into high school, I was focused more on playing basketball, hanging out with my friends, not really focusing on grades. And just one day, I just snapped out of it during the summer, realized I need to step it up, get ready for my career. So I just stopped all that, sacrificed everything, and just started learning anything I could, because I enjoy learning. So I just started doing that. And with the moment when I was sitting in school and I heard the announcement about a Black essay contest, immediately I was ecstatic. I said, all right, I gotta do it, because I study Black history myself. We don't really study it in school. But I studied it all myself, and I enjoyed it, and I wanted to do it, definitely.
You got it, bud. I think you hit the nail on the head when you talk about sacrifice. You know, as a student, you come into high school, and it's hard to focus on the books and the grades and the MCAS. All you see is an opportunity to become a social butterfly, hang out with your friends, become an athlete, be big man on campus. But anybody and everybody who's been through high school can tell you that there's a lot more after that. So focus and deal with all the BS, the schoolwork, the stuff that you may not be interested in doing, because it's going to help you out in the long run. So I'm happy to hear that. Now, you're a senior over there. You used to play basketball. What are some hobbies? What are some things that you do in your free time?
My free time, it really is weird because I like to work out. I like to play basketball. Then I switch it up. I like to play the guitar. I like to read. I like to do many different things. As long as my brain is involved, I'll do it.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it's cool to see. I mean, I'm a Lynn guy. I went to classical myself, and you know, Lynn always has a bad rep. You know, it's like you hear every single day, Lynn, City of Sin, and it makes me cringe as a Lynner, man. It's like, you know, we got a lot of positive attributes in this city: the woods, the beach, the students, the teachers, the faculty. This city just breeds pride, and it's really why you guys are here today. So let's get into hip hop. Okay, hip hop music. It's huge. It's been popular since it began. I don't know much about the history. I know a little bit about what I used to enjoy. I like 90s hip hop, early 2000s, and then like as it got like later on in the 2000s, it wasn't for me. I think Soulja Boy after that came out, and I used to do it was one of my favorite songs, man. I used to do the dance. And I watched myself after some kid videotaped me at a party. I was like, I gotta get back into Dave Matthews. But let's talk hip hop. A lot of people look at hip hop who may not be familiar with it and understand it to be a negative, or that it's filled with people who are considered to be thugs. And that's simply not true. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you have to say?
Hip hop, from Stack Doe's vantage point, is simply entertainment for us. A lot of the stuff that we rap about, we don't necessarily have to do it, but we all can relate to it. From every one of us, you know, from the top to the bottom, we all can relate to everything that we're saying, and that's why the music, you know, sounds so good. That's why it's so powerful. That's why it's so deep, because that's really us. That's where we come from. If it's not us directly, it's somebody who we watched go through it. It's somebody who we know. It's somebody who's, you know, maybe a relative to us, and that's what it is for us. It's a lot of entertainment that we're trying to put a positive spin on. In order to, you know, if it's a better way to feed our families, then that's what we're gonna do it for.
I think that you know, hip hop music it's interesting to me, and I enjoy it because of the story behind what these musicians say. You know, and any story that we all enjoy, whether it's a movie or a book. The struggle is why we watch it. You know, the reason why this person is going through a tough time and watching them go through it and actually overcome or not overcome is the purpose behind storytelling and why we enjoy it. And that's really what sticks out to me with musicians, is that they're explaining their hardships, they're explaining their struggle, and it's not always a positive thing because it's difficult. It's not easy. You know, it wasn't easy for Eminem growing up in 8 Mile. I mean, that's one of the toughest areas in America. And, you know, he just talked about a story and people can appeal to it. And I think that right there is the point, that these people make music and it's appealing because they go through some of the same struggles. And it's interesting to hear a little bit of feedback from them. Let's talk Black History. In America, we celebrate Black History in February. Also in Canada, they celebrate in February. In the UK, it's in October. And in Brazil, they have Black Awareness Week. So that's based on my research that I've done. You're probably a scholar on this stuff, so I could ask you a couple questions indeed. But let's talk about Black History Month. The reason why it was started was to educate people as to African-American history here in America, and also just kind of celebrate the culture. What do you guys, I mean, I'm just a white guy, you know, like Black History Month to me, I realize that it is there to appreciate, you know, our fellow Black Americans. But as an African Americans, I mean, how do you guys, I mean, do you celebrate Black History Month at all?
For me, every day of the year is a chance for a Black to make history. Every day. We never asked to come here. And then when we got here, you know, back in the days in the 1900s and all that, when we would find a place to live, you know, in the 60s and all that, they would just pay us $50 or $100 to move. Now, you know, we've come so far, you have to deal with us. you know, on every aspect. We're just as smart. We're just as athletic. We're just as when we can compete in everything, and like every day is a chance for us to make history, and that's what Black history mean to me. You know, that's why we're doing this, because it's so much bigger than, you know, what people think. You know, you have to see it. You have to really be involved to understand, you know, what we really stand for.
Right. I mean, Black History Month is, it has to be special because what I believe is, you know, African Americans are just as American as, you know, people who came over from Europe. They were a huge part in the development of this country. You know, Abraham Lincoln is well renowned for freeing the slaves and, you know, keeping the Union together. But I think in Black History Month, it's an interesting thing because it's one to celebrate and then also reflect. And I mean, we can't look away from what had happened in the past, but you know, it's also important to be aware that, you know, it happened back then. None of those people are alive anymore, and it's a humanistic thing. Slavery has existed throughout the world and all of mankind. I did a little bit of research. I can't remember the word. I repeated it 50 times to sound smart today, but apparently it didn't work out. But when you basically desegregate a culture from its original homeland and bring it somewhere else, it's disrupting to the culture, and you lose a sense of that. So it's tough. It must be. It's definitely a time to reflect, but it's also a time to celebrate as well,
Definitely.
just like you had mentioned.
Definitely.
So we have Andrew here. Andrew's going to read his Black History Month essay. We'll get to that a little bit later on, but let's talk about the history of blacks in America. Everybody has like their favorite historical figure. Mine's Abraham Lincoln. I love Lincoln. There's plenty I could say about him, but in Black History Month, there are probably some guys who stand out to you. Tell me a little bit about the research that you've done and who appealed to you.
The research, through research, I want to definitely say Malcolm X, because when I read his autobiography, it really appealed to me because throughout his whole life and up to about he was 18, he did a lot of criminalistic things. Like he sold drugs, he didn't go to school, he like had prostitutes, all that. And after he went to jail, a Muslim came to him and told him, you need to change your life. You need to look to Allah and change. And he just started reading, and through that, he started realizing racism was a terrible thing. And he just changed his whole life, got out of jail, and started preaching, trying to educate. Not just tell people, oh, hate all white people, but to educate them to do good, to make money, feed their families, and then see how they're being treated in America. So I really respect Malcolm X a lot.
Absolutely. I mean, he's an American hero in himself. And, you know, during the 60s or the early 50s, late 50s, when this was all going down, it's important to recognize guys like Martin Luther King, but it's also important to recognize the second guy. You can imagine how many people had something negative to say about the situation at that point in time, and how little amount of people were willing to step up. And those who did step up, they probably had suffered some type of repercussion. But the second guy, to see Martin Luther King speak and then say, I'm going to follow him, just it inflames a whole, it's a revolution. So, I mean, the second guy, if not just as important as the first guy.
Definitely.
So, Brandon, tell me a little bit about your what you know about Black History Month and maybe some of the guys who appeal to you.
Michael Jordan, we got the same birthday.
All right.
Cool. He changed the game, you know, basketball. Martin Luther King, of course. I mean, because I respect him a lot, because I don't know if anybody can hit me in the face with a brick and I just keep walking like nothing happened.
Right.
I mean, he did that and still, you know, wanted to get his message across. He never made it about him.
Yeah. And
that's an admirable thing. You know, I know, you know, I got cousins that you can't flick their ear and get away with it.
Right.
So, like, for him to go through everything that he went through, knowing that he's facing death every day, knowing that he's facing, everybody hates him.
Yeah.
And he embraced it and never got away from his character.
Right.
You know, I wish at times that I could be like that. The world is different now. So, you know, it's not as easy, but I respect him so much for that.
One of the most selfless men in the history
Definitely.
of America, without
Definitely.
a doubt. We'll be back. We're going to talk to Andrew and have him read his award-winning essay. So stay tuned and stick around.
cruelty to animals. Emmy was a victim of cruelty and someone did something about it. Someone called the ASPCA and put an end to it. But Emmy can't talk. The fact is, animals are abused all over this country and people sit by and do nothing. It's not slick, or fly, or cool, none of that. It's just cruel. If you're aware of any animal abuse, go to ASPCA.org, find out what you can do. Now, make a difference. She can't do it for herself.
Plant inspiration. Provide youth with the creative tools and skills to cultivate it. And you'll be amazed at what can grow. Adobe Youth Voices in the Peapod Foundation. Learn more at plantandinspire.org.
Welcome back to the LynnCAM TV Show. If you're just joining us, our subject today is Black History in America. Here with me, Andrew Duperval, a student of Lynn Classical, Brandon Hamilton, and Warren Keel. Gentlemen, again, I just want to say thanks for being here. Why don't we start this half of the show off with Andrew reading his award-winning essay.
Well, Black History Month. What does Black History Month mean to me, a young African American living in a predominantly poor district? Well, I know from my personal studies that Black History Month started as Negro History Week in February, the second week, and was created by Dr. Carter Woodson with the help of ASALH, an organization founded by Dr. Woodson in 1926. The purpose was to educate and inform the younger African American generations and the whites of the struggles that our ancestors endured. This week quickly changed to a whole month of Black history in 1976 and was accepted by President Ford. He later told everyone to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. Unfortunately, maybe because of my sometimes disappointed city, Black history is not really encouraged or taught by even African Americans. All the history teachers I've experienced in my entire life briefly went over African American history, only the small details. As a result, most of the kids in my generation, including many African Americans, are ignorant in the subject of Black history. They don't see Black history as a month when we could teach and learn more about Black history, but rather as a month when we can say Black power to everything and everyone, not knowing the true meaning behind Black power. They think this is a month when Blacks can generally do whatever we want, say whatever we want, and act however we want because we're Black and our ancestors were slaves. This theory, at least in my opinion, is wrong and I completely disagree with it. Well, what does Black History Month mean to me then? As someone who is constantly preaching and trying to educate my peers of Black history, this month means more than a lot to me. On this great month, I educate everyone willing to listen about Black history. I learn from others who have knowledge to share. It's a time when I can grow my hair out and put a pick in it, although I did cut it. Tell people not to use the N-word, read autobiographies on Black revolutionists such as Assata Shakur, Stokely Carmichael, Malcolm X, and so many more. It's a month when I can praise and thank those unforgettable revolutionists and celebrate their birthdays, such as Frederick Douglass, whose birthday is on the second week, originally Negro History Week of February. Although I do these things on a regular basis, regardless of the month, during this great one, people won't ask me why I do them. Sometimes when I tell people not to say the N-word, people ask why, or when I grow my hair and put a pick in it to signify how African Americans' hair grows outwards and coarsely, people ask me why I do that. On this month, I can simply reply to them that it's Black History Month, and they'll understand why I'm just expressing Black pride. It's a month when I can discuss with one of my only Black teachers in my school, a role model of mine, about Black history. It's a month when my school has a proud Black History Month assembly, and a time when great contests like this are created. It's a month when I happily teach my peers and express my pride without having to deal with the ridiculous question why. Each year, ASALH declares a new theme for Black History Month. This year, the theme is civil rights. Civil rights are the rights given to citizens to political and social freedom and equality. Discrimination occurs when an individual's rights are denied or interfered with because of that individual's race, class, gender, etc. African Americans, even after the abolishment of slavery by the 13th Amendment, were denied their civil rights because of their race. Blacks faced a great amount of oppression by both legal and illegal force, and the government showed no sympathy. In fact, they helped and encouraged the oppression and segregation. Even through all this, blacks never stopped fighting for the rights we deserve. Well-known civil rights activists such as Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Rosa Parks, and the underground activists and other organizations who weren't as celebrated as much, such as Marcus Garvey, Linda Brown, SNCC, which is a school organization, and so many more, all fought during the 60s to not only eliminate segregation, but for everyone to have exactly the same rights as whites. As a result, laws such as the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 gave all humans the rights we deserve. It ended unequal requirements for voting registration, segregation of schools, restaurants, buses, etc., and discrimination in hiring, promoting, and firing. I celebrate and commend these activists every day, but even more on this great month. I really love Black History Month, and I really look forward to it each year. It's one of the only times I, an African American, can really show people why I'm so proud to be Black and an American. Although race issues have not been resolved yet in America, the fact that each president since President Ford has openly recognized and announced February as Black History Month shows that progress is really being made and that blacks are really being considered citizens in their own city. Today, Black History Month is celebrated in other countries such as Canada and the United Kingdom. I only wish that everyone who enjoys celebrating Black History Month in February would celebrate Black history for the whole year. Though it's a great month, it's also a reminder that Black history is not as highly prioritized as white American history. It seems like Black history is only encouraged to be learned during February. I hope this changes, making both white and Black history, as well as history of the other races in America, just American history. Maybe then all Americans can come together and celebrate American history all at once, like July 4th.
Amazing, dude. Good job.
Thank you.
Good work.
Thank you.
I love the piece that you had mentioned at the end. You know, it's just February and we only have Black History Month. It's American history, and,
Yeah.
and that's the best point that you can make there. Brandon has something for you.
This time I would like to present you with this. You can open it. You can show whatever. I mean, that's nice, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being
Congrats.
a part
Thank
of
you.
what we have going on.
Good job, gentlemen.
First annual Black History Essay Contest.
So this is the first annual. These guys are planning to do this on an annual basis. We were talking during the break and just recognizing Andrew's efforts. He doesn't want to scratch. He's going to keep it in there forever. But now you get some hardware to hang up on your wall. And we expect that wall to be filled with hardware by the end of your college career as well.
Yeah.
So just to mention, if you're just joining us, Andrew had read his essay for the first annual essay contest produced in part by Stack Doe Entertainment. He did a fantastic job, and I think he hit the nail on the head when he talks about Black History Month and white history and puts them together as American history. And I think we should celebrate American history year-round, absolutely. So congratulations on your award.
Thank
Good
you.
job, and keep up all the good work at Classical. Let's talk a little bit about the label. You guys are an entertainment industry here, and you're doing something that probably isn't something that you hear about, an essay contest, something that has to do with education. As entertainers and producers, tell us a little bit about your label.
Our label was put together by Warren and a couple other business partners that fused the name, and all we wanted to do was just find a way to touch everybody other than the easy way. It's easy to get out there and rap. It's easy to get out there and do something that everybody else is doing. You know, it's easy to do that, and we're fearless. You know, even just saying the name Stack Doe and having a emblem that looks like a money sign, it gets, like I said earlier, or whatever, it might get the true value of what we stand for.
Yeah, Warren,
kind of gets rained on.
You had mentioned that earlier. Stack Doe, the label isn't really indicative of what people believe it to be. It's not all about money.
No.
It's not. It's about entertainment. Yeah. So that's interesting. Now, you guys have some upcoming events, shows, and you're working with talent in the local area, whether it's Lynn, North Shore, Boston. Let's talk about that stuff. You've got some...
We're going to have a showcase here in Lynn on March the 13th at Phoenix. And basically, it's anybody who R&B. You can write a poem if you want. Music, anybody who's trying to follow that dream, we're gonna open up a way for them to possibly go into New York at Club Pyramid on the 24th if they win this contest and rap in front of Maybach Music, which is a predominantly
label.
it's a major label.
Huge
It's a major label with Rick Ross, Meek Mill, Amarion, some famous people that our youth follow. You know, that's why we wanted to do this. The invite was given to us because of our hard work, and we wanted to extend it to the community and anybody who's trying to follow, anybody that looks up to us. You know, if we're going, you can come too. You know, it's the same thing. And I made it a contest because I want to bring the best out of everybody. You know, I want to see who wants it as bad as we do. You know, and that's why we did that. Like I say, the 13th is here, the 24th is Club Pyramid. Actually, I'm sorry, the 21st is down in Lowell.
Savannah's Place.
At Savannah's Place.
Yeah, they're up there on the screen for our viewers to take a look at.
April 20th, we have the church in Boston.
Yeah.
It's going to be a pretty big event. So we're going to be pretty busy. We're going to be pretty busy coming up. And this right here means more to me than any show that we do.
Yeah,
you know, I feel like this moment right here, you know, I'm never going to forget, you know, him. You know, he just made history for me.
Right.
He made history for us. And that's just something that was just, I mean, I've been happy since I met you. You know, because that's just something that means a lot right there. That means a lot right there.
You're an excellent student, man, and I think that you're going to do big things in school.
Thank you.
You know, as a kid, a lot of people like just expect things from their parents, and you know, the food, the clothing, the shelter, all that stuff. They're never going to ask for payback, but you owe it to them to give them a reason to be proud. So continue to do those things. That's pretty much the time that we've got for today. Our subject today, Black History in America. Here with me, we've got Andrew Dupaval, Brandon Hamilton, and Mr. Keel. So that's it for our show. Tune in next time. I'm wishing you all the best. I'm Sean Donahue. That's it from LynnCAM TV.